With the 5,000 fans who purchased the Double Down package in the stands the night before the World Finals, it's time to set the field in qualifying, one of the most unique parts of the World Finals experience. The fans, actually, a fan for each driver selected their qualifying order. Now, they've been practicing in each lane, but, you know, Ken, some drivers skip practicing in the lane they're not going to qualify in.
Yeah, they want to stick in that one lane if they feel like they had a good shot. Now, keep in mind, the 8 fastest will automatically advance right into round number 2, so qualifying extremely important here.
They'll qualify one at a time, many without their bodies to prevent any damage. We talked earlier with Pablo Huffaker about qualifying.
We made a lot of changes last night, get this thing ready for today, and you know, hopefully it all works out for us. If not, we've still got 3 passes to get it dialed in tonight, and then we got all night tomorrow night. Work our way to the finals.
They're done practicing. It's time to go on the clock. Here's Blacksmith.
Of course, it was one night ago right there in Thunder Alley on Thursday night when he drove that thing up over the wall.
Pablo Huffaker having a pretty good qualifying run as he skies it over the finish line. That time is going to stand up pretty strong, 16:93 for Pablo Huffaker and Blacksmith. I think anything under 17 seconds is going to give you a shot to make that top 8.
Yeah, and that's where you want to be ultimately.
The Blacksmith, there again, you see the time, under 17 seconds. You really want to make the top 8 because, frankly, who wants to run in that crazy first round if you can seed yourself right into the second round? Now, Adam Anderson, Dennis's son, the rookie, Ken, he's really struggled in practice.
Yeah, he's trying to find the right combination inside of this truck, and this Thunder Alley is pretty tricky. The entrance to it is where you need to be spot on.
Adam Anderson takes Taz into the turn, sets it up. Oh, he lost the turn again. This is not going to be a very good time for Adam Anderson. As many Vegas rookies do, struggling, getting used to the course. The time for Taz is only 18:61, and that's a second worse than he was in practice. So that's not something he's going to be happy with.
He's struggled in that right lane, has thrown some of these guys a curveball down there in that turn. A little loose, some granular dirt up on top of it.
Now this guy knows this track. Alan Pizzo, he's out next in the Predator. Would love to get a top 8 times. You can see the fans, it's, you know, just like going to a baseball game. They've got their scorecards charting all the time, and there's a great promotion where every fan, after this is all done, is going to try and pick all the winners tomorrow night, and some great prizes for the one who does the best.
Now he's taking his hood off
5 seconds.
so that he can have good vision, so that he doesn't hit the wall into Thunder Alley, and so that he doesn't hit a turning post.
Like
but it didn't work out for him there.
Yeah, that's just like it is in racing. That's a 5-second penalty added on to his time. So Pizzo's time is going to be in the 20s, and that's going to put him very, very low. He knows he's racing in the first round tomorrow with a time that officially goes in at 23.22. Now, David Smith. David was the story a year ago, one of the big surprises as he made it all the way to the semifinals. He'd love to back that performance up and do it again, and I would think he needs to qualify well to give himself a shot.
Now, on the opposite side of the spectrum, we just saw Pizzo take his hood off for better vision. David actually left his hood on, so that it would be the same as it would be under race conditions.
He wants that same field of vision he's going to see going into the turn tomorrow night. Had a little problem in the turn, but all in all, I would say it's not too bad of a run for David Smith, although the time is not that great. 18:57, he was a little bit slow. He's not going to be happy with that.
He'll have to be better than that if he wants to go some rounds tomorrow night.
Well, we're going to find out what David thought about it. Let's go down to Mark and get the word from David Smith.
It was all right. I mean, I didn't do as well in qualifying as I wanted to. I ran better in my previous runs than I did in my qualifying run, which is not good. I wish we would have done it opposite. Maybe taking the middle one or something. That would have been good for me. It wasn't bad. I mean, it's not the greatest, but...
We're going to keep Mark Travers busy with that microphone and camera, running around talking to as many of these competitors as we can to see what they think about their qualifying. Chad Fortune is up next in Superman.
Great crew chief for this truck. Always runs very strong.
Coming down to the turn. Now, Chad is one of these experienced Vegas shoes who should know how to get through here, and that's a nice, smooth turn. Not as fast going down Thunder Alley as I think he's going to need to be as this weekend goes on. The time, 17:75, probably going to seat him in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, he'd be right around there in the middle. As you mentioned, you know, you want to try to get in that top 8. I don't know if that's going to be good enough to get him there.
Coming up next is going to be Kathy Winston of Team Suzuki. Earlier tonight, she had a wild ride, a mishap in practice, but they've got the truck back together, and the Team Suzuki truck's on the line to qualify. We did get a chance earlier, though, to ask Kathy about that wild practice ride.
I cut the corner too tight. I was just a little bit too excited. The adrenaline was getting the better of me. But when I cut the corner and rode the rail a while, but then when it came back down, I said, great, I'm still going to run. I know it's not going to be a good time, but I still got to go out there and get one shot in.
Now, Kathy didn't run here last year and is kind of getting reacquainted with this track because when you are away from the World Finals, Ken, for a year or two, there's nowhere else you can run this like this.
Oh, this track completely different, and as I mentioned a couple of times, entering Thunder Alley is critical, and it only takes just a small mistake. It can actually be a little bit slick there, so if you slide out just a little bit or try to cut that corner too quickly, it will bite you.
She's qualified officially, 18:69. Won't be enough for sure to get her in the top 8, but nonetheless, much better than her practice run, as we saw for Kathy Winston and Team Suzuki. All right, we'll continue to run them one at a time. And here's a guy we need to watch. You talk about somebody away from the sport for years. We mentioned with Kathy being away from Vegas, Neil Elliott took a whole year off, period, from racing, but he has come back with a vengeance this year, and a lot of people are watching him in his Hot Wheels truck.
Neil Elliott's been here before and has had some bad luck at Vegas, but he's always been very, very fast. He's a natural behind the wheel, just an excellent driver.
Swings that back end out, doesn't give up a lot of momentum. Now this is a Team Men's prepared truck, and it looks good. Strong run for Neil Elliott. He may just find himself going straight to the second round because that time, under 17 seconds, and again, we think that is what you've got to do to make it into the second round, 16:88 for Hot Wheels and Neil Elliott, and he certainly is back.
As it stands right now, I mean, he's #1, so that was a spectacular run.
Great job from Hot Wheels. Well, Jason Childress, last night they had an open practice, Ken, and they let guys go out on track if they wanted to. Nobody took more laps here last night than did Jason Childress and Batman. This kid's serious about getting used to this track.
And that's a great move as a driver. I can't explain enough how much it means. Every one of those laps, you gain so much more experience. And if you've never been here before, like you just mentioned, and that's all critical seat time, and there's nothing that can replace seat time.
Kind of missed the turn because right back on the throttle. The run is going to be another of those I think we'll see in the middle of the pack at 18.07 for Jason Childress and Batman. Another one I think that was important for him to leave that nose cone on because that's got a unique type of vision he's going to have going into the turn.
Without a doubt, that is a wild-looking truck.
Again, the truck's coming out in the order their fans drew them, and now it's time for Dennis Anderson in Gravedigger. Earlier we talked to the 2004 World Racing Champion. We're going to find out how he barks in qualifying. Anderson heads down Thunder Alley. Now the trucks don't get lane choice here. You have to go in the lane that is determined by whether you are an odd number or an even. Odds in the left lane, then this is one of the odd number trucks, evens in the right. And that was a great run. He flew around this place, Ken.
That's the best looking run we've seen all night, no question. Certainly his best of the weekend. And
wow.
16-19, superb. That will put him in the #1 spot. A lot of it was setting that truck in Thunder Alley. When he got back on the throttle, he didn't squeeze it. He mashed it.
He found some speed on that run. Let's find out what he's got going for him. Mark's with Dennis right now.
Hey, guys.
Track fast?
Oh, yeah. Fastest time so far. What we go? 16 what? 16:19. Fastest time of the night so far. We still got 3 bad boys to run. If I can hold them off, I'll get that big double down tonight, and I'll be fast qualifier. That'll be sweet.
He's looking for that hardware, man.
Yeah, they actually created a trophy because this is Double Down Day. They call it the Double Down Trophy. It will be presented to the fastest qualifier, and right now, somebody is going to have to turn in their lap of the weekend to beat Anderson. That was superb.
It won't be this one. It won't be this one.
No.
You can see right there, sitting up in Thunder Alley, he just off the throttle too long.
Lupe Sosa, El Toro Loco, who has improved his racing game significantly, known more as a freestyler. He turned pretty well down at that end. Let's see what the time comes in. It's not bad, not great. 17:96 is going to be the time for Lupe Sosa and El Toro Loco. He'll be racing in the first round tomorrow night.
When you're off the throttle long enough to look at it and say, the better part of 1,001, you pretty much lost a second there. You at least lost a half a second.
You know, a minute ago, Dennis Anderson said there were 3 guys he was worried about knocking his time off. The first of those 3 is coming up right now. Lindsey Wink, the Canadian in the Iron Outlaw, who has been the story in terms of an emerging superstar this year in the sport. Well, he wants to back it up with a big World Finals weekend. To do that, he needs to qualify well here.
This team has had an incredible streak of final round appearances. Either he or Jimmy Creedon, just about every show that they went to this year, one of those trucks has been in the final.
Often they've both been in the finals, racing each other. And it's a good run for Lindsey Wink. I think that's going to be a top 8. He's going to seat himself in the second round. It is under 17 seconds, 16:72. So Lindsey Wink puts down a strong qualifying run, and he may find himself in round number 2. Let's get his thoughts right now.
Well, everyone takes the right lane, and even at the driver's meeting today, you know, there's jokes about the left lane. It's like the, well, that's a curse lane. But I ran a 17:06 in that lane last night, and that's not a bad time. I think that's one of the third or fourth fastest time. And if you're pulling times like that over there, it's the same lane, it's the same length from one end to the other. I'm confident I can go in there and I can bust out either lane as fast as possible. Last night I had some good passes. I definitely feel like I'm about at 85% as far as what I was doing last night. Tonight I got to turn it up and try and get a little more time shade off the top time and put myself in a great bracket position so I can race perhaps one of the slower trucks and, you know, get some momentum going into the racing.
Those were the thoughts from Lindsey earlier, and he kind of backed up what he wanted to do. Jim Kohler, we talked to him about last night's practice session before he comes out.
Felt great, man. Not as much response to the motor as I wanted. Went a little deeper. I stopped a little earlier this time, so the turn was good. Still sliding out a little bit. It's loose. But qualifying, I think I'm ready now to put something decent on the motor.
Boy, comes off the line well. Let's watch him through the chicane. Now you hit the hammer down Thunder Alley, but you got to get on the binders at just the right moment. Slides it through too much, pulls it back in. Yeah, he overdid it in the turn just a little bit. That's going to cost him. His time is, it's going to be only 19 and a half. Yeah, so that was not what he wanted to do. Let's get down there and get the latest word from Jim and see what he thought about that run. A little bit slower than he wanted, I'm sure.
Felt good, felt pretty good. You know, I'm not used to making real good racing passes for that one. I think it felt really good. It's one of them deals where it slid out still a little bit, but I'm watching where everybody's letting out of the gas, where they're throttling it. You know, if I had a few more practice runs tonight, it'd be cool, but I opted not to practice yesterday just because I knew the track conditions would change, and they did. Everything's feeling pretty good for this old truck. We're going to do all right.
So from a veteran with tons of Las Vegas experience in Jim Kohler, we go to a rookie at Vegas, Mark McDonald. We asked him about his practice runs earlier.
Came into that corner, I was trying to run pretty hot and came into it a little too close, you know, trying to get a quick time, and didn't turn out for me. You know, I hit that and tore apart the steering ram on it, blew the sidewall out of the tire. Not what I wanted to do. So, but had a good crew, was able to get back here and, you know, get it ready for next pass. So, made a pass, and we'll see what happens this next time in qualifying.
He was just trying to one-up me. He was my crew chief last year when I hit the wall and went over, so he's just one-upping me out there.
Yeah.
You know, some drivers take this route, work on a crew, become a crew chief, have success there, they get your chance to drive, and that's what Mark McDonald's done. He's learned this sport from the ground up.
Well, it helps them understand what the truck wants whenever they're inside of it.
Mark McDonald, this is a good-looking run here. This rookie can race a truck. The safe auto minimizer with a solid run. This is going to be right on the cusp, I think, Ken, of whether he gets seeded into the second round. 17-19 is going to put him in the upper half for sure, maybe the top 8. We'll see as the rest of this unfolds. Now, experienced Randy Brown, experienced overall, but not at Vegas. This is his first run here in the tournament. Brown is a part of Team Gravedigger normally. No more for freestyle, but he's had some racing success.
So far, a run looking pretty good. A little loose right there in that turn, but that turn has pretty much thrown everybody that curveball. We'll find out what his time looks like.
Decent, 17 and a half.
Yeah, real solid run.
Probably not top 8, but it may be top 10 or 12. Now, here comes a guy who is here on a mission, not only to defend his freestyle title, but to finally win a racing championship. Jimmy Creedon and Bounty Hunter.
Well, you can't count your chickens before they hatch here. I mean, everybody is good. Everybody's discussing this track. They're adjusting. There are going to be some nice passes made tonight, and we're gonna skip our second practice, and we're gonna go right to qualifying. We feel that confident. We're just gonna run our game. He's gonna get down there as fast as he can. I'm gonna get down there as fast as I can, and may the blue truck come out on top.
May the blue truck come out on top. Jimmy Creighton and the Bounty Hunter. Ken, what about pressure for this team? Jimmy's been so close to the World Championship and never won it. And a couple of times he's made mistakes that's cost him the title in the finals. There's got to be a lot of pressure on him here tonight and then tomorrow.
I think he's such a veteran. I don't know that he feels the pressure tonight, but no question tomorrow night when those big dogs are all gunning for that same trophy, he'll be feeling the pressure.
Good run. Second best, 16.46. I don't know if it'll stay number 2, but it'll clearly put him in the top 8. Well, coming up next, a guy who wants to take a run at Dennis Anderson's top time. It's Tom Meents, Maximum Destruction. He knows this track.
This thing's flying right now. It's got a lot of horsepower. The track's slick. I'm sure I'll go over 70 mile an hour. I just don't know what the number will be.
Well, let's watch it find out. Max Ken has got a whole new power plant.
He's having a hard time steering it as well. Might have knocked off a power steering line up there in the front. A lot of smoke. Keep in mind that hydraulic fluid can get on that hot engine, you know, maybe the headers, the head, whatever it may be. That stuff's under a lot of pressure. Can fly.
Wow. Tom Meents, the bottom of the lineup right now, back of the field with his time of 25 seconds. This is going to make for some interesting matchups in round 1 and then round 2 tomorrow. Here's the destroyer, Dan Evans, a veteran of Las Vegas, knows this track, has been doing a lot of work on some shock packages to get a softer ride for this truck.
Spectacular ride, true veteran, textbook run right here, just nice and smooth, nothing funny in the middle.
Time 18.16, just went ahead and gave it a nice smooth pass, and the destroyer safely in the field with that qualifying run of 18.16. Probably, again, put him in the team somewhere in terms of the qualifying. Won't be near the top, but he may get a decent draw in round number 1. Now, Chris Bergeron coming out next in the Brutus machine, and we got a chance to talk to Chris earlier about yesterday's practice and this whole weekend.
Brutus has some awesome power. We geared up for it. We made a different gear change in it so we get some hot top speed. Looking awesome. As long as the truck can stay straight for me, I know I have the power and the speed, just keeping it under control.
Keeping it under control is always a question for Chris Bergeron, and in all honesty, it looked like he left light. He did not cut that light at all.
I was actually surprised his teammate, Jim Kohler, his truck looked a lot tighter than it typically does.
See, this was a pretty good run, but he may have cost himself as much as a second at the start line.
Just from the hit of the watch.
Chris Bergeron and Brutus with a time of 18.50, but we may want to keep an eye on him tomorrow. That was a pretty smooth-looking run, and, you know, this is a guy who has a lot of talent. As you and I have talked before, Ken, it's just keeping the equipment together because he is so spectacular. Sometimes the equipment can't handle what he wants it to do. Paul Cohen up next. Another of the rising superstars in the sport, the Air Force Afterburner. Now, this truck is new to the World Finals, but Cohen has been here before.
Cohen's just a great driver, you know, as are all these guys that come out here. Oh, a little out of shape right there. Matter of fact, the whiplash, the result of that first mistake into the turn, cost him some time. He had to get out of the throttle and reset the truck.
Turns it pretty nicely, gets a little over-cocked as he goes to the jump crush cars, but he gets across them fine. It was that mistake you talked about that cost him time. It'll be 18.75 for the Air Force Afterburner, so a little slower than I think we expected going.
And you could see the frustration when he took his neck collar off. He is not happy with that run. He ran better in practice earlier tonight.
Chad Tingler, a new driver for the Pastrana 199 team. This kid's got a lot of talent, and it's a late season change, and this truck is actually being prepared. It's a teammate truck to Superman. So the crew chief of last year's world champion is working on this truck. And it's got to give Tingler a lot of confidence.
And by the way, for those of you watching at home, all the sparks when you see him hit the brakes, that is normal. That's just the brake pads on the rotors grinding in, trying to get that thing stopped.
You know, we always get a surprise, kind of a shocker. I think this is a big surprise. 16.85 makes Pastrana 199 fourth quickest in qualifying, and he could do no worse than 7th with 3 more trucks to go, so he's going to make it into that top 8. Frank Krimmel in the Del Taco Del Scorcho. Earlier we talked to him about practice last night.
Awesome. The Del Taco Del Scorcho is running flawless. Had a nice clean first practice pass with my teammate Chucky Pawkin, which that's a good luck omen to me because I've been watching Chucky since I was a little kid. So to get to be able to run down the track with him, the biggest event in the world, is awesome. I can't wait to get out there and try to put this truck on the #1 spot for qualifying.
Well, your time is here, Mr. Krimmel. The Del Taco machine in the left-hand lane, Frank Krimmel. He ran here before in the World Finals and had a year where he ran power forward here. Looking pretty good. Not going to be at the top of the bracket for sure, but not too bad for Del Taco Del Scorcho. 17.53 right now. It looks like he'll just barely miss being in that top 8, but he's going to get a favorable first-round draw with a time like that.
And that left lane looks like it's building a little cushion in that turn down there. Some consistency in that dirt. I don't know that the right lane has that just yet.
You know, I said that we're talking about where you're going to draw a favorable draw. Somebody's going to get an unfavorable draw with a good time because they're going to have to go up against Mens in round 1. Now,
exactly.
He is going to be last on the bracket unless somebody else has bigger problems. Now, Charlie Pawkin, Ken, you and I have talked about this. This 1951 top Merc has virtually no visibility. I mean, you can see how small that windshield is. This is a tough truck to drive in racing.
And he's struggled in this thing, and he's going to struggle again. He almost turned it over, stood in the throttle hard, and that's exactly what he needed to do, or it would have high-sided him.
You know, when I talked to Charlie earlier, it was all about picking his marks out and really hitting his marks on this track, and obviously he didn't hit them well there. The time very slow for Monster Mutt. He'll be near the bottom of the qualifying bracket, 21.78. So disappointment there for Charlie Pawkin, the veteran in the Monster Mutt. Now, what's that? Well, it's an Escalade without the Escalade body. You can tell it by the neons on there. George Bellhand.
The big spinner's working, man. Look at that thing over there. Big left front wheel spinning. It's a cool looking truck when the body's all on it.
And he's got that new white body they're taking off. They don't want him scarring that baby up before tomorrow night's quarterfinal. Now, Bellhand has qualified great here before. Remember last year, he should have been one of the top qualifiers, but a unique seating system, the best he could do, would not put him in the top. Now here it's wide open. If he lays down the 4th best time, that's what they'll give him. But that's not the 4th best time. Not bad at 17:41, but he's going to find himself racing in the first round tomorrow night too. 17:41 the time for George Bellhand and an Escalade. And I'm not sure if I'm in the second round, I'd want him coming out of the first round. Have to give him one practice run, one run before he gets to you tomorrow. Might not be a good idea for one of the faster guys.
Yeah, I mean, there's no gimmies here anywhere in the field, but that's certainly not a guy you want to give an extra crack at it.
Tony Farrell and the Built Ford Tough Blue Thunder, the final qualifier. And then we will have the bracket set for the Monster Jam World Racing Finals. Farrell should qualify well. This is a pretty good run.
Carrying good speed, locked up that left front going into the turn.
Not bad at all. Nice job in the turn. That time's going to put him in the top 8. It looks like 17:18. Not too bad. Matter of fact, pretty daggone good for Tony Farrell and the Built Ford Tough Blue Thunder, who could be a real player here when we get to racing bracket action tomorrow night at Sam Boyd Stadium. And the intricate sides cheering for their favorites. Ken, the biggest surprise is not at the top is that Max D's not in there with those guys, but Digger, Bounty, Iron Outlaw, no shock there, huh?
And a quarter second for Gravedigger to the number 2 qualifying spot. We talked about how good that run was. But yeah, I mean, these are the best in the business. Until you get the Pastrana 199, what a surprise there. Not that he's not the best in the business, but hey, he's a rookie coming into this field looking so good. Hot Wheels in there as well, then Blacksmith, Pablo Huffaker. I mean, it's a loaded field no matter where you look. But how about Max D down at the bottom?
The 8 trucks seeded into round 2. Gravedigger, Safe Auto, Hot Wheels, Pastrana, Iron Outlaw, Blacksmith, Blue Thunder, and Bounty Hunter. So let's break it down. Here's how it'll be. Brutus gets the unlucky distinction of drawing Max D in round 1, and the winner of that one goes on to meet Gravedigger. Escalated King Crunch for the right to meet Safe Auto. Air Force and Superman, the winner takes on Hot Wheels in round 2. Avenger and El Toro, with the winner then going up against Chad Tingler in Pastrana 199.
Over here on the other side of the ladder, great job. Monster Mutt will have to get after it right off the bat. I think you have to look down at the bottom. Destroyer and Predator. That is a big-time race right there to come out and then eventually meet the Bounty Hunter.
The number 1 qualifier, Dennis Anderson in the Gravedigger, going to go pick up his double down trophy.
it's very interesting. You know, coming in, everyone was saying right lane, right lane, right lane, and then guys were getting their numbers out of qualifying, and they were odd, and everyone's like, oh man, but the left lane was definitely fastest tonight. We saw with Lindsey Wink and Jimmy Creedon, both those guys were right behind you, and they were running the left lane also.
It was, and I tell you, man, it's what I've done in qualifying tonight. I just got to keep on doing it for the real burn tomorrow. You know, tomorrow night is the real deal. And these guys are tough. You know, that was one good pass that I made. Yeah, and it felt good, and I drove a good race. But it probably was some good luck in there with me too. You know, I have my good luck charms in my pocket from some of my fans. So we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Okay, good luck, Dennis. We'll see you tomorrow during the race.
All right, thank you, guys.
Earlier today, when all the fans got with the drivers during the special Double Down festivities, a couple of fans did bring Dennis good luck charms. He said he's going to carry him with him all weekend. Well, they sure were lucky for him tonight. He's #1 in qualifying.
Nice save right there for Kathy Winston. Pretty exciting runs all throughout the field, but the field now is set for the running of the World Final.
You get a great feeler during qualifying and in practice just how intense it is just to even make it into and get ready for the Monster Jam World Finals. That's what makes this event so special. And that's qualifying for this year's Monster Jam World Finals. Dennis Anderson, #1.